Hey guys, how's it going? Wooksy here, and this is going to be my first pyro guide of many. This one I'm going to be showing you how to basically transition from Nightmare to Hell and get a pretty decent, good starting set for Hell 5. So with that, I will go ahead and show you my current gear. It's pretty much just a bunch of random mythics. You know, as you can see, there's a 78% one. So they're not even rolled that high. I'm mainly aiming for fire damage, energy, stam, CDR, because we want our CDR to be as close to 50% as possible. Our reduction, we got it, decently high for what we can. And for the 3 resists that we're going to focus on is physical, magic, and lightning. Now, ideally you want everything capped, but that's not always possible using just mythics. So you want the 3 highest damage output things to be capped for your resists. Now, other than that, our fire damage is low, but it's acceptable. The only real difficult thing with starting out on a pyro is our mana. A lot of our spells cost a ton of mana, so unless we have the ability to regenerate it pretty quickly, we're not going to be able to cast very much. As you can see, that's why I literally only have 2 spells on my bar. As for the tree, I always go 1 into Meteor and then 1 into Splitfire. This just gives you the chance to have the additional projectiles on your attack. Then I go into Flame Shield because that's just a super good talent point to have, because it's gonna buff your resist and HP, and it just helps your defenses quite a bit. I put 1 to Pyro, Kinetic Disorder. It doesn't do a lot, it helps a little. We put 20 into Fireflies because right now you don't really have enough damage to do a whole lot, so this kind of carries you just because they automatically regen and continuously attack the target. Then again, 3rd degree burns. This is fairly obvious, but we want our fire break to be as high as possible, so this will allow that. We also go into Fire Nova. This is just a super good early game skill. And we also buff it with Extended Flames, so that just makes it even better. And then we get Max Out Burning because we want our targets to burn for as much damage as possible. We don't have any hero levels, and our mercenary has not been hired yet, so it's just us. But let's go ahead and let's do something random. Now this gear is definitely able to get you through like Hell 1 fairly easily. It does take a little bit to kill the ancients, or I mean the champions, or if you do experience an ancient mob. It will take a little bit to kill that, but other than that, you can pretty much just fly through these. Yeah, the damage isn't the best on starting Pyro, but it does work. You're able to definitely do Hell 1. And, if you want to start trying to farm for those S tier items early on, then this is a good way to do it. So yeah, that's just the example using the mythic items. Let me go ahead and kill these last couple mobs, and then I will show you the starting satanics. So after we start upgrading our gear and picking up stuff that we can actually use, we're going to try to aim for a cheap set like this. Now, all of these items are like C tier or B tier, so obtaining them should be extremely easy. The only semi-difficult thing that's hard to get might be the Preacher, just because you need the base, but getting the runes for that isn't very difficult at all. Other than that, gives you a decent amount of stamina and HP, pretty decent starting reduction, caps out all of your resist very easily. Starts giving you some actual good damage. Our Fireflies went from 15k per to 122k per, so that's going to be quite significant. Our mana regen went up a little bit, health regen, that's fine, and everything's looking good. So let's go ahead and restart this zone and I will show you how fast this one clears. And with this setup, I actually believe you can take it up to health 5 fairly easily. And again, this is all gear that people pretty much vendor, so being able to afford this is not hard at all. Yeah, so let's go ahead and try Hell 5, since we just fly through Hell 1. Going to do the same place. And as you can see, we're flying through Hell 5. So, very cheap gear, and it's gonna take you extremely far. We'll go ahead and actually do a whole Anubis run and see how long that takes. But as you can see, it's clearing very quickly. The restless spirits from your preacher do help a little bit. They don't help a whole ton, but the small amount they do help is enough to, you know, add up definitely. And they also hit targets like way off the map, so that's also a cool little bonus. Now, one big upgrade you're gonna look for at this point of gearing, assuming you don't get any like crazy drops or whatnot, you're gonna be trying to get a rainbow, which is this charm. Fairly easy to make. You just, again, you need the base, and the runes are just all hell runes, so very easy to obtain, but that is a huge damage increase, and it increases your reduction, not reduction, increases your all resist. So if you are struggling, which obviously I'm not, I don't know why I got some of these runes in, but whatever. At one point I must have had a different item on to not be basically resist cap. I'm assuming it's my ring. But yeah, you definitely want to use Satanic Eye. It's extremely strong early game. Alright, let's go ahead and fight Anubis. So as you can see, we're able to take plenty of damage and really not even feel it. And I forgot a switch somewhere. No, this probably isn't going to go super fast, but it will go fast enough. Using your Strong potion actually helps with your damage quite a bit, so definitely make usage of that. Yeah, just a fairly easy kill. Just obviously you don't have the gear to like one-shot it right now, which is absolutely fine. don't really need to yet. But yeah, again, this build is literally pennies. It's using pretty much like all B tier stuff. I put in perfect rubies just because they help a lot with their damage, and more than likely you're not going to have a whole ton of runes right now. But if you do have more runes and you feel like your damage is fine, you can always just load up on Drax runes and just make yourself more tanky. But other than that, let me see, there was something else I wanted to show. So there is a couple options you can do with like how you want to gear. So you can get a blood ward, which is actually pretty strong. It's just I like having the early 19% mana. It's quite useful. You also get more all stats out of this shield, so I went ahead and decided the Demon's Mirror. Now for your chest pieces, you have a ton of options. You can go Grand Wizard Robes, which is a super good option because it gives you elemental damage and ability power, mana per second, stamina, so it's really strong. If you're really in a bad spot, you can always go for Marsh Shroud. This is going to give you, you know, a little bit of damage reduction, a little bit of fire damage, a little bit of max HP, so it helps out if you're just in a really bad spot. Same with the Fire God's Chestplate. It's just going to give you attack speed, HP, all stats. This is definitely better than the Marsh Shroud, but again, it's level 50 satanic. It's not very hard to get. Then we have the Molten Steel Cataphract. This one is, it's okay. The problem I have with it is that it doesn't give all stats, so you lose out on a lot of armor and you lose out on a lot of energy. And then fire percentage, all talents compared to like using a Devil's Cocoon. And you also lose out on the all resist, which is really important early on. And all you're gaining really is additional HP from the Molten Steel and then the experience gain, which obviously that's a good stat, but I'm not too focused on that right now. Then again, Preacher, it's very easy rune word to make. It's a very good starting item. Molten Hands, very easy to get. Heavy Duty, again, very easy to get. Satanic Eye, like extremely easy to get. Molten Boots, and then Surströmming, or Surströmming. But yeah, that's the build and the gear for the early game Pyro. It should get you through Hell 5 fairly easily. I mean, even for that boss, it wasn't the longest kill, but if I was just farming like Hell 1 or Hell 3 or something, that boss would have died pretty much instantly. So yeah, it's a very good way to start out your character. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and end this guide. I hope you enjoyed, and there will be a part 2 and part 3, so I hope you stick around for those. I appreciate you guys watching and hope you have a good day.